Vela gazed out of the shuttle's viewport, her breath fogging the cold glass. The vast, swirling nebulae and bright star clusters that had mesmerized her during the journey now seemed distant as her new reality loomed closer. She was about to land on Xylix Prime, the heart of intergalactic education and culture, and the site of the prestigious Galactic Harmony School. It was a place where the universe's brightest young minds converged, and now, somewhat improbably, it included a human girl from Earth. The shuttle descended through layers of luminous clouds, each stratum revealing a more intricate and bustling landscape beneath. The campus was a sprawling array of crystalline structures, bioluminescent gardens, and floating pathways, a stark contrast to the concrete and steel of her hometown. As the shuttle landed with a gentle thud, Vela's heart raced. She adjusted her uniform, an elegant assembly of nanofabric that shimmered with a spectrum of colors reflecting her mood, currently a mix of deep blue apprehension and streaks of green curiosity. Stepping out, she was immediately enveloped in a symphony of alien sounds and languages. Her translator implant softly chirped in her ear, decoding the myriad of greetings and chatter around her. The air was thick with a sweet, spicy scent, the signature aroma of Xylix Prime, which somehow had a calming effect. "Vela Anderson?" a voice echoed in her translator. Turning around, she met the eyes of a tall, slender figure whose skin rippled with iridescent patterns. It was Assistant Principal Zorix, a Zaltharian, known for their intellectual prowess and empathic abilities. "Yes, that's me," Vela replied, extending her hand, a gesture she hoped was universal. Zorix smiled, mimicking the gesture but with a slight bow. "Welcome to Galactic Harmony School. I am here to assist you in your integration. We believe your presence here will bring a valuable perspective." Vela nodded, her nerves eased by Zorix's warm demeanor. They began walking towards what Zorix called the Integration Center, a hub designed for new students from different planets to acclimate. Along the way, every site was a vignette of diversity and unity. Groups of gelodites, creatures made entirely of crystal, laughed in tinkling chimes. A pair of Morkans, resembling earthly octopuses but walking on their tentacles, debated loudly using vivid color changes instead of sounds. A lone Crete basked in the sun, its plant-like body absorbing light. The Integration Center was bustling with activity. Vela was given an orientation packet which hovered above her palm as a holographic display. "You'll find your class schedule, map, and other essentials here. Your first class is in quantum ethics, a fascinating subject," Zorix explained, pointing towards a towering building shimmering like a mirage. Her first encounter with her classmates was a mixture of curiosity and cautious fascination. A small group of students approached her, their eyes wide with wonder. "Is it true you're from Earth?" a voice piped up from the group, a small, furry creature with large, luminous eyes. "Yes, I am," Vela smiled, feeling a bit like an exhibit, but deciding to embrace the role. "Earth isn't as advanced as many of your worlds, but we have our unique qualities." The conversation flowed easier than she anticipated, with her peers eagerly asking about Earth's culture, music, and food. In return, they shared snippets of their customs, from the hive mind celebrations of the Ashtari to the silent dances of the Nebulons. As the bell chimed, signaling the start of classes, Vela felt a surge of excitement. With her digital map guiding her, she navigated the corridors filled with students of all shapes and sizes, each a marvel of evolutionary creativity. When she reached her classroom, she took a deep breath and stepped inside, ready to let her unique human perspective shine in this kaleidoscope of galactic diversity. Her adventure was just beginning, and everything was about to change, not just for her, but perhaps for the entire school. The classroom of quantum ethics was unlike any learning space Vela had ever seen. The walls were dynamic, displaying swirling galaxies and quantum phenomena in real time, giving students a visceral sense of the universe's underpinnings. As Vela found her seat, a levitating chair that adjusted to her body contours, she noticed the students were as diverse as the subjects projected around them. Professor Thalros entered the room, his presence commanding immediate attention. Thalros, a renowned Thessian scholar, had 4 arms and eyes that could perceive both the physical and quantum realms. "Welcome," he began, his voice resonating deeply. Today we explore the moral frameworks of quantum decisions, where every choice affects countless realities. The lecture unfolded, revealing complex concepts of quantum morality where actions taken in one universe could ripple across others, impacting parallel existences. Vela was fascinated. On Earth, ethics was already a complicated subject, but here it intertwined with the fabric of reality itself. During a group assignment, Vela teamed up with Lork, a Yorlin whose skin shimmered with visible emotions, and Temez, an introverted yet brilliant Meridian who communicated through subtle light patterns. Their task was to solve a quantum dilemma involving a collapsing star and the civilizations orbiting it in multiple dimensions. Lork's skin flashed patterns of concentration, while Temez projected diagrams of potential quantum outcomes. Vela contributed by applying Earth's ethical philosophies, suggesting they calculate the net happiness across all affected universes. The collaboration was intense, and their solution was both innovative and daring, proposing a way to stabilize the star temporarily across all dimensions to allow for mass evacuation. Professor Thalros praised their approach, noting, "Your solution exemplifies the power of diverse thoughts converging. Excellent work, especially from our new human student." The class ended with students buzzing about the unusual solution, and Vela felt a surge of pride. She was contributing, learning, and connecting. As the group dispersed, Temez lingered behind. With a flicker of violet light, which Vela's translator identified as gratitude, Temez invited her to join the Quantum Ethics Club, an opportunity Vela eagerly accepted. Walking out of the class with Lork, who had taken a liking to her straightforwardness, they discussed the looming annual intergalactic symposium, where students presented solutions to universal-scale problems. Lork was enthusiastic. "You should present our solution, Vela. It's groundbreaking, and you have a knack for explaining complex human concepts in a way we understand." As they approached the verdant relaxation area, a designated quiet zone for students to unwind, Vela's thoughts drifted to Earth. She wondered how her simple upbringing could have prepared her for such a role. But as she sat under a luminescent tree that hummed softly, harmonizing with the mental frequencies of its vicinity to soothe thoughts, she realized that her unique background was not a liability, but a strength. Here, in this convergence of minds and galaxies, Vela found her place. As her thoughts aligned with the tree's calming hum, she felt a deep connection to her new friends and her new home, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead with newfound confidence and allies. After the excitement of her first classes, Vela's schedule brought her to a course that seemed deceptively mundane: Universal Linguistics. However, the Galactic Harmony School's version involved not just learning languages, but understanding the intricate ways communication shaped civilizations across the cosmos. The classroom was a theater of holographic projections, displaying the students' faces alongside real-time translations and phonetic waveforms. Professor Nimbolo, a small beetle-like creature with a prodigious ability for languages, guided the students through the nuances of non-verbal and telepathic languages, an area Vela found particularly challenging. Today's lesson focused on the subtleties of the whisper language of the Silencio, a species that communicated through barely audible sounds and slight movements, conveying volumes of information in a murmur. As Vela struggled to catch the faintest whispers, she felt a tap on her shoulder. It was a message from Temez, suggesting a study session later. Grateful, she nodded, her mind racing with the complexities of her new course. The day ended with Vela feeling a mix of exhilaration and exhaustion. As she walked back to her quarters, the campus seemed different in the twilight, shadows stretching long and mysterious, the bioluminescent plants casting eerie glows on the pathways. It was during these quiet moments that she noticed how the diverse student body interacted beyond the classroom. Clusters of species from similar planetary systems formed natural groupings, yet there were always individuals like her, drifting between groups, belonging everywhere and nowhere. That night, in the communal dining hall, Vela joined Lork and Temez. The hall was a vast dome, with floating orbs of light illuminating tables filled with an array of foods from different worlds. Each dish was an adventure, and Vela tried a spicy nebula salad that seemed to pop with starlight with every bite. As they ate, Lork and Temez shared rumors of a mysterious phase shifter on campus, a student or faculty member rumored to be able to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Such abilities were known but rare, and tightly regulated. The discussion turned to whether such power could be used or misused in significant ways, possibly even affecting the upcoming intergalactic symposium. Interest piqued, Vela proposed they investigate. What if we could interview the phase shifter for our symposium project? It could add a whole new dimension to our understanding of quantum ethics. Temez flickered with patterns of intrigue, the idea resonating with the Meridian's love for deep knowledge. Lork, ever the skeptic, agreed but with caution, emphasizing the need to respect privacy and consent in their inquiry. The next day, armed with curiosity and determination, the trio set out to gather clues about the phase shifter. Their first stop was the archives, a towering spire filled with data crystals that contained the recorded knowledge of 1,000 worlds. As they accessed the archives, their search uncovered obscure references to similar abilities throughout galactic history. Some celebrated, others shrouded in scandal. But more intriguingly, they stumbled upon encrypted files related to recent research on dimensionality, locked away under high security. Their investigation was just heating up when suddenly, the lights in the archive flickered. The air grew tense, and a whisper, almost too soft to hear, brushed against Vela's ear. Turning swiftly, she saw nothing but the shadows between the stacks of data crystals. But the message was clear. Be careful what you seek. Chilled yet more determined, Vela looked at her friends. There's more to this story. Let's find out what's really going on here. With nods of agreement, they stepped deeper into the maze of knowledge, unaware that their quest for answers was about to delve into realms none had expected to explore. As Vela, Lork, and Temez ventured deeper into the archives, the atmosphere thickened with a sense of secrecy that seemed almost palpable. The trio navigated through corridors lined with data crystals that pulsed with the knowledge of civilizations both ancient and advanced. Each step they took seemed to echo through the vast, silent chamber, amplifying the gravity of their clandestine mission. The encrypted files they had discovered hinted at experimental research involving dimensional theory, a subject so controversial and dangerous that it was typically discussed only in hushed tones among the highest academic echelons. The records were fragmented, but one name recurred like a motif: Professor Varix, a reputed expert in quantum mechanics and dimensional phenomena, who had mysteriously disappeared from public view months ago. Determined to uncover more about the phase shifter and its possible connection to Professor Varix, the group decided to seek out Dr. Alanora, an archivist known for her encyclopedic knowledge of the school's deeper secrets. Dr. Alanora, an elderly figure with eyes that shimmered with the light of 1,000 galaxies, welcomed them into her private study, a cozy enclave crammed with ancient manuscripts and futuristic devices. Ah, the seekers of hidden layers, Dr. Alanora murmured, her voice a melody of curiosity and caution. What drives you to stir the shadows? Vela, acting as the spokesperson, explained their encounter in the archives and the whispers that hinted at dangers untold. Listening intently, Dr. Alanora's face remained an unreadable mask, yet her eyes betrayed a flicker of concern. Or was it excitement? You tread a path filled with ripples, Dr. Alanora warned, her fingers tracing lines of light on a spherical device that projected holographic images of cosmic events. Dimensional research is the Pandora's box of our times. What you discover might not only change your perception, but could also alter your very existence. She proceeded to explain that Professor Varix had been working on a project called the Nexus Initiative, which aimed to bridge dimensional divides for peaceful purposes but had potential for catastrophic misuse. His research was abruptly halted, his lab sealed, and his whereabouts became a subject of speculation. Varix believed that the universe's myriad dimensions were interconnected, that actions in one could heal or harm others. Dr. Alanora continued, her gaze locked with Vela's. But knowledge, like power, is a double-edged sword. Armed with new determination, the trio asked for access to Varix's sealed records. After a moment of hesitation, Dr. Alanora agreed. providing them with an encrypted key. Be wise, young ones. Some truths once known reshape worlds. The key led them to a restricted section of the archives, where they finally accessed Varrix's personal logs. The logs were a mix of scientific entries, philosophical musings, and sudden disjointed thoughts. One entry in particular caught their attention. It spoke of a breakthrough that could change the fabric of reality, followed by a chilling addendum that simply read, "They are watching." As they digested the gravity of Varrix's words, the air shimmered unnaturally around them. The faint whisper returned, clearer this time. "Not all eyes are friendly." Startled, they turned to see a figure stepping out from the shadows, an entity whose appearance blurred and shifted, skin flickering between dimensions. The phase shifter in flesh and energy stood before them, eyes gleaming with an unfathomable depth. "I am what you seek." The voice resonated directly in their minds, transcending language. "And I knew Varrix. If you wish to understand, follow me beyond the veil." With hearts pounding and minds racing, Vela, Lork, and Temez stepped forward, ready to cross into realms uncharted, their journey into the unknown turning more perilous and profound than they could ever imagine. The figure before them, known only as the Phase Shifter, seemed to exist simultaneously in multiple planes of reality, its form shimmering with translucent layers that defied visual understanding. With a gesture that seemed both an invitation and a warning, the Phase Shifter began leading them through the less-traveled parts of the archives, down a spiraling staircase that descended into the depths of the school's oldest foundations. As they followed, the air grew cooler, and the atmosphere denser, charged with an energy that made the hair on Vela's neck stand on end. The walls around them were lined with ancient runes and technological devices that pulsed with a quiet power, suggesting they were walking through a corridor that bridged not just space but time and dimensions. Reaching a sealed vault door, the Phase Shifter paused, its eyes, or what seemed to serve as eyes, flickering rapidly. "Beyond this point, reality is fluid, and your perceptions will be challenged," it explained. With a wave of its hand, the door dissolved into mist, revealing a chamber that contained an array of devices and artifacts, each emanating a strange, captivating energy. This was Varrix's sanctuary, the Phase Shifter said as they entered. Here he studied the thresholds of reality, experimenting with ways to navigate and manipulate the dimensional fabric. His discoveries were profound, but so were the dangers. The chamber was a library of the impossible, filled with objects that defied explanation. A clock that ran backwards, a mirror that reflected possible futures, and a small black cube that seemed to absorb light and sound. At the center of the room stood a large crystalline structure pulsing with a soft light, the Nexus. Vela, Lork, and Temez were drawn to the Nexus, their minds buzzing with a mix of fear and fascination. "The Nexus is a dimensional bridge," the Phase Shifter continued. "It can connect points across dimensions, allowing matter and consciousness to travel between realities." As they approached, the Nexus's light intensified, casting prismatic colors that danced across the room. Varrix used this to explore alternate dimensions, seeking knowledge and wisdom from across the cosmos. The Phase Shifter explained, but he discovered more than he bargained for. There are entities, watchers from beyond, who guard these thresholds jealously. Vela felt a chill as she remembered the whisper from the archives. "Not all eyes are friendly." "What happened to Varrix?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "He reached too far, attracted the attention of those who felt threatened by his knowledge. One day he simply vanished, likely taken by the Watchers to prevent his discoveries from disrupting the dimensional balance." The revelation was overwhelming, but before they could process it fully, the room trembled slightly, as if reacting to an unseen force. "We must be quick," the Phase Shifter urged. "You've seen what few have. Now you must decide how to proceed. With great knowledge comes great risk." Lork looked uneasy. "Should we continue his work, or is it too dangerous?" he pondered aloud. Temez responded with a flicker of light, signaling caution and curiosity. "We need to understand more before making such a decision. Perhaps there's a way to explore safely with proper safeguards." Vela agreed. "We need to learn, not just for ourselves but for the safety of all dimensions. If there are threats from beyond, we must be prepared. The phase shifter nodded, its form stabilizing into a more solid appearance. I will help you, but be wary, for every step in knowledge is a step into greater shadows. With a new resolve and the phase shifter as their guide, Vela, Lork, and Temez prepared to delve deeper into the mysteries of the Nexus, ready to face whatever challenges came from the unknown, armed with the resolve to protect the fragile fabric of reality. In the hushed stillness of Varex's sanctuary, with the pulsing Nexus at its heart, the phase shifter initiated a series of complex gestures that seemed to manipulate the very threads of reality. The Nexus began to emit a low, harmonious frequency, and holographic displays sprang to life around them, detailing schematics that merged quantum physics with arcane symbols. Varex developed these protocols to safely navigate the Nexus, the phase shifter explained, pointing towards the floating diagrams. Each sequence is a formula designed to open pathways to specific dimensions without drawing the attention of the Watchers. Vela, Lork, and Temez gathered around, absorbing the wealth of information. The diagrams depicted layers of reality as interlocking circles, each connected by lines that represented potential pathways. The phase shifter highlighted a protocol named Echo Veil, a method Varex had hypothesized would allow explorers to observe alternate dimensions indirectly, thereby masking their presence from the Watchers. Think of it as peering into a pond using the reflection of the sky. You see the depth without touching the water, the phase shifter described. Lork, fascinated by the technical aspect, asked, "How do we initiate the Echo Veil?" Using a device that resembled a sextant crossed with a computer, the phase shifter input a series of commands. This instrument aligns the Nexus with the desired dimensional frequency. However, only a mind attuned to the Nexus can guide it. For this, Varex used an empathic link. Temez, known for his sensitivity to light and energy patterns, volunteered. "I can attempt to synchronize with the Nexus. Perhaps my ability to interpret light can help navigate these connections." With cautious optimism, Temez approached the Nexus, his form illuminated by the fluctuating prisms of light. He placed his hands on the crystal surface, and a visible current of energy flowed between him and the Nexus. His body shimmered with the same luminescent patterns that covered the Nexus, creating a symphony of lights and shadows around him. As Temez delved deeper into the connection, the room darkened, and the only light came from the pulsating Nexus and the glowing patterns on Temez's skin. Suddenly, a view of another dimension flickered into existence above the Nexus, a reality where the laws of physics appeared vastly different, where floating islands drifted through a sky of swirling gases and bioluminescent creatures soared between them. Vela and Lork watched in awe, but their wonder was cut short by a sharp spike in the energy readings. The phase shifter quickly intervened, adjusting the device to stabilize the connection. "We must be careful. The link is fragile, and the Watchers are sensitive to these fluctuations." As the view stabilized, Vela thought about the implications of their discoveries. "This could change everything," she whispered. "We can learn from these dimensions without risking direct contact." "Yes, but each observation must be meticulously planned and executed," the phase shifter replied, its voice tinged with caution. "The Watchers are ever vigilant, and we must not overreach." Their exploration continued, with Temez carefully navigating the subtle energies of the Nexus, revealing glimpses of realities that were hauntingly beautiful and strange. Each dimension presented new questions about the nature of existence and the interconnectedness of all things. Hours passed, and the group decided to document their findings and develop a methodical approach to their explorations. They agreed to keep their activities secret, to protect the Nexus and themselves from potential threats. As they prepared to leave the sanctuary, Vela felt a profound sense of responsibility. They were not just students anymore. They were guardians of a profound secret that held the potential to unify or destroy universes. With the Nexus protocols in hand, and the phase shifter as their mentor, they were set to embark on a journey that transcended the boundaries of their school, their lives, and their very realities. With newfound knowledge and an intricate map of possibilities spread out before them, Vela, Lork, and Temez devoted themselves to mastering the Nexus protocols under the watchful guidance of the phase shifter. Their clandestine meetings in the sanctuary became a regular occurrence, each session unveiling new facets of the multiverse and deepening their understanding of its delicate balance. Their next focus was the Convergence Protocol, a sequence designed by Varix to harmonize different dimensional energies temporarily, creating a symphony of realities that could coexist without colliding destructively. This protocol, Varix believed, could foster an unprecedented exchange of ideas and culture between dimensions, a utopian vision that had never been tested. One evening, as the stars outside began their slow dance across the sky, Temez initiated the Convergence Protocol. The Nexus pulsed rhythmically, its light softer and more inviting than before. The room filled with a gentle hum, a sound that seemed to echo through their very souls. "Feel the flow of energies. Let them meet, mix, and merge," the phase shifter instructed, its form flickering slightly as it attuned itself to the shifting dimensional tides. Temez, with his deep sensitivity to light and pattern, guided the energies, his concentration palpable. Slowly an image formed above the Nexus, a breathtaking vista showing a city where architectures from multiple realities blended seamlessly. Crystal towers next to Gothic spires, all surrounded by lush, alien gardens floating without gravity. Vela and Lork watched in awe. This visual harmony of structures symbolized the potential for cultural and intellectual symbiosis. "It's like a mosaic," Lork remarked, "each piece from a different world, yet together forming something greater." However, as they explored this harmonized dimension, a sudden dissonance in the energy flow caused the image to flicker violently. Temez strained to maintain the connection, his face contorted in concentration. "We're pushing too hard!" Vela exclaimed, stepping forward. "Temez, pull back!" With a final strenuous effort, Temez severed the connection. The image shattered like glass, and the room fell dark, save for the dim glow of the Nexus. Panting, Temez looked up, his expression one of relief mixed with disappointment. "We underestimated the complexity of merging realities," the phase shifter said, its tone somber. "This protocol requires more than just technical precision. It demands a profound understanding and respect for the boundaries of each dimension." Reflecting on the incident, the group realized they needed to approach their explorations more judiciously. "It's not just about seeing or even touching these other realities," Vela said thoughtfully. "It's about understanding them, respecting them as part of a greater whole that we're only just beginning to comprehend." The setback turned into a valuable lesson. Their journey wasn't merely one of scientific discovery, but also of ethical exploration. They decided to document everything meticulously, creating a detailed journal of their findings and the ethical considerations each step entailed. As weeks turned into months, their proficiency with the Nexus grew, and so did their caution. They developed a routine that balanced their academic responsibilities with their secret explorations, ensuring that their pursuits did not endanger the delicate fabric of the multiverse. One day, while reviewing the data they had collected, Lork stumbled upon an anomaly, a pattern in the energy flows that suggested the existence of a hidden, self-isolating dimension. "This could be a dimension that has deliberately shielded itself from outside contact," Lork theorized, intrigued by the implications. The discovery sparked a new debate among them. Should they attempt to reach out to this secluded world, or respect its apparent choice of isolation? The decision was heavy with consequence, and after much discussion, they agreed to observe and learn from a distance, maintaining a respectful boundary. Their adventures with the Nexus had started as a quest for knowledge, but it had grown into a profound stewardship. They were no longer merely students or explorers. They had become custodians of the threads that wove the fabric of realities together, each thread as precious and fragile as the next. As the date of the intergalactic symposium approached, the atmosphere at Galactic Harmony School became charged with a mix of anticipation and anxiety. The symposium was not merely an academic event, but a showcase of groundbreaking ideas that could influence the direction of interstellar societies. Vela, Lork, and Temez, despite the covert tension surrounding their Nexus research, prepared to present their findings, aware that this could be the most significant moment of their young careers. The symposium was set in the grand auditorium, a marvel of architectural genius that featured a dome depicting a live holographic map of the galaxy. As the day unfolded, researchers and scholars from various dimensions presented their work, ranging from quantum biology to the ethics of artificial consciousness. Vela's team was scheduled to present in the late afternoon, giving them time to gather their nerves and finalize their presentation. They had decided to showcase their theoretical framework for safe dimensional exploration, cleverly omitting direct references to the Nexus and their more dangerous findings. Meanwhile, unknown to them, the faculty committee, including the members Vela had overheard, convened in a sealed chamber. Their urgent discussion centered on the trio's research activities, debating how much freedom they should be allowed before intervention became necessary. "We know they've accessed the Nexus," one committee member stated, her voice laced with concern. "Their project could inadvertently expose us all to risks we cannot control." Another member, a distinguished scientist with a reputation for his progressive views, countered, "But imagine the potential advancements if they succeed. We must tread carefully. Stifling their research could hinder progress across realities." Back in the auditorium, the tension for Vela and her team was palpable. They rehearsed their presentation, ensuring every detail was polished, every argument sound. Lork adjusted the holographic displays, while Temez prepared notes on their ethical arguments, emphasizing the precautions necessary for interdimensional research. As they took the stage, the audience's attention was riveted on them. Vela started the presentation, her voice clear and confident, discussing the importance of understanding dimensional boundaries and the potential benefits of their research. Lork then took over, detailing the technical aspects, his explanations punctuated with impressive visualizations of theoretical models. Finally, Temez, with his subtle command of light and energy, demonstrated a scaled-down simulation of their indirect observation techniques, captivating the audience with the beauty and complexity of unseen dimensions. The presentation concluded to resounding applause, the audience intrigued and impressed by the young team's depth of knowledge and their cautious approach to such a volatile subject. However, the faculty committee watched with mixed feelings, their applause tempered by the weight of their earlier discussions. As the symposium drew to a close, Vela, Lork, and Temez were approached by various scholars, each expressing admiration and curiosity about their work. Among the crowd, a mysterious figure lingered at the back, his gaze intense and knowing. It was the phase shifter, who had silently supported their efforts from the shadows. After the crowd dispersed, the phase shifter approached them, its voice barely a whisper. "You have stepped into the light, but remember, the shadows grow deeper in response. Be ready, for your journey has just begun." The day ended with a celebration, but the trio's minds were elsewhere, caught between the exhilaration of their successful presentation and the ominous warning of their enigmatic mentor. As they left the auditorium under the starlit sky of Xylix Prime, they knew that their exploration of the Nexus had irrevocably changed them, setting them on a path filled with as much danger as discovery. In the wake of the symposium, Vela, Lork, and Temez found themselves elevated from mere students to pioneers of a potentially universe-altering science. Their presentation had sparked debates across academic circles, drawing both supporters who saw boundless potential and critics wary of the Pandora's box they might open. This schism influenced not only their social circles but also the scrutiny they faced from the Galactic Harmony School's administration. Amidst this whirlwind of attention, the trio continued their secret expeditions to the Nexus chamber, now with heightened precautions. They delved deeper into the Echo Veil technique, enhancing their ability to observe alternate dimensions without leaving traces that might alert the enigmatic Watchers. During one such session, as Temez interfaced with the Nexus, a sudden, unanticipated fluctuation occurred. The air in the chamber thickened, shimmering with an unseen force, and for a moment, they glimpsed through the Nexus a shadowy realm, where colossal figures loomed, their forms blurred and ominous. "The Watchers!" Temez gasped, breaking the connection abruptly. The vision had lasted only seconds, but it was enough to chill them to the bone. They realized they had unwittingly brushed against the edges of the Watchers' domain, a stark reminder of the dangers Professor Varix had possibly faced. Determined to understand more about the Watchers without drawing their ire, the team decided to delve into ancient archives and forbidden lore that might offer clues about these mysterious guardians of dimensional integrity. Their research led them to old texts describing the Watchers as ancient entities, possibly as old as the universe itself, tasked with maintaining the balance of realities. Their academic pursuits, however, did not go unnoticed. One evening, as they discussed their latest findings in a secluded corner of the campus gardens, they were approached by Professor Alara, a member of the faculty committee who had been particularly vocal during their symposium review. "I've been observing your progress," Professor Alara began, her tone a mix of admiration and concern. "Your ventures are fraught with risks not only to yourselves, but potentially to the entire fabric of reality. You must tread more cautiously." Vela responded, her voice firm yet respectful. "We understand the risks, Professor, but we believe our research can lead to greater understanding and possibly safeguard against larger threats." Professor Alara nodded, her expression softening. "I see in you the spark that once drove Varix. Be wise and remember, knowledge without wisdom is a ship without a rudder. If you need guidance, or if you reach a point where you feel overwhelmed, come to me." Grateful for her offer and the implicit support, the trio felt a renewed sense of responsibility. They intensified their studies, focusing on developing a theoretical model that could explain the role of Watchers and the mechanics of their interventions. This academic endeavor bore fruit when Lork stumbled upon a theoretical framework suggesting that the Watchers were not merely guardians, but also recorders of all dimensional interactions, their existence tied to the very continuum of reality. This hypothesis proposed that understanding the Watchers' motives could lead to protocols that would allow safer navigation of the dimensional pathways. Armed with this new theory, the team prepared a detailed presentation for an upcoming closed-door session with the school's top dimensional researchers. The night before the meeting, as they finalized their preparations, the air in their study room shimmered subtly, an echo of the Nexus's energy. "The Watchers are aware of us," Temez murmured, sensing the change. "We must be ready to defend our intentions." As dawn broke over Xylix Prime, casting its golden light across the campus, Vela, Lork, and Temez headed to the meeting, their minds a mix of anticipation and apprehension, ready to share their findings and perhaps bridge the gap between fear and knowledge. They were no longer mere students, but were becoming key players in the unfolding cosmic drama, where every discovery could alter the course of countless realities. In the hallowed halls of the Galactic Harmony School's central auditorium, an elite group of scholars and dimensional researchers gathered, their faces a mix of curiosity and concern. Among them, Vela, Lork, and Temez stood as the youngest presenters, their recent work on the Nexus and the Watchers, drawing serious attention from the intergalactic academic community. The room was configured to facilitate not just a presentation, but an immersive experience. The central holographic projector was calibrated to display their findings in three-dimensional space, allowing the audience to visually and conceptually grasp the complex theories being discussed. As the meeting commenced, Vela took the lead, her voice steady and clear. "Today, we share a synthesis of our recent explorations into the Nexus and the theoretical presence of entities known as Watchers. Our goal is not merely to explore, but to understand the implications of our interactions with other dimensions." Lork then presented their latest discovery, the theoretical model of the Watchers as both guardians and recorders of dimensional activities. The room darkened as he activated the holographic projector, illustrating the Watchers' potential roles with dynamic, interlocking circles representing different realities. The model suggests that the Watchers' primary function is to maintain dimensional equilibrium, preventing any one reality from collapsing or overpowering another. Lork explained, manipulating the hologram to show the consequences of unchecked dimensional breaches. Temez followed, detailing the enhanced echo veil technique they had developed, a method allowing them to observe alternate dimensions indirectly, thus minimizing the risk of attracting Watchers' scrutiny. This approach, Temez highlighted, provides a safer path for dimensional research, respecting the balance the Watchers are believed to protect. The presentation was met with a mix of applause and murmurs of debate, Scholars questioned the trio about the ethical implications, the potential risks, and the theoretical underpinnings of their work. Each question was handled with a careful balance of factual data and thoughtful speculation, showcasing their deep commitment to both scientific advancement and universal safety. Professor Ilara, having observed the proceedings with an intense focus, finally spoke, her voice resonating across the auditorium. "This team has pushed the boundaries of what we believed possible, venturing where few have dared. While we must proceed with caution, we cannot deny the importance of their discoveries." The meeting concluded with a call for a more structured program to explore dimensional theories, one that would involve Vela, Lork, and Temez as key researchers, under the guidance and oversight of experienced scholars. They were also encouraged to draft a set of universal protocols for safe dimensional research, taking into account the ethical considerations necessary to avoid catastrophic consequences. As the group dispersed, the trio gathered their notes and equipment, their minds buzzing with the feedback and the road ahead. They were no longer on the fringes of academic curiosity, but were now at the forefront of a new, exciting field of study. Later in the quiet of the Nexus chamber, the three friends reflected on their journey, from their first bewildering day at Galactic Harmony to becoming pivotal figures in dimensional research. The room hummed softly around them, the Nexus glowing faintly in the background, a symbol of the unknown realms they were yet to explore. "The universe is vast, and we are but a small part of it," Vela mused, gazing at the pulsating Nexus. "But in understanding the shadows, we also illuminate our own path." With the echoes of the meeting still resonant in their minds, Vela, Lork, and Temez prepared for the next phase of their journey, equipped with knowledge, guided by wisdom, and driven by an unquenchable thirst for discovery. As they left the chamber, the light from the Nexus cast long shadows behind them, a reminder that with great light comes deep shadows, and in those shadows, the next adventure awaited.